When Dylan checked into the Briarcliff Hotel, he wasn't expecting much, just a warm bed and a hot shower. The place was old, brick and iron from the outside, with stained glass windows that seemed more suited to a cathedral than a hotel. It had that faded Victorian charm you only find in towns that time forgot. Briarcliff wasn't even on the map anymore. Dylan found it by accident when his GPS rerouted him after a landslide closed the main highway. He parked his beat-up Civic in the gravel lot and approached the lobby, which had a single flickering chandelier, musty carpets, and a large oak desk where a stern old woman stood like she'd been waiting for him all her life. "You must be Mr. Dylan Carter," she said, without a smile. "Yeah, how'd you—" "We don't get many guests this time of year." She slid a heavy guest book toward him. As he signed, she placed a paper beside it. The font was Gothic and crimson, like it had been typed on an old typewriter with a ribbon soaked in wine. It was the Briarcliff Hotel guest policy. Do not stay in your room between 3 a.m. and 3:33 a.m. If you hear a knock at your door and no one is supposed to visit, do not open it. Avoid the elevator after midnight. Take the stairs. If the mirror fogs up when you haven't showered, look away. Room 616 is off limits. Do not approach the door under any circumstances. If the wallpaper peels on its own, do not watch. Let it finish. Should you hear whispering in the hallway, remain silent and still. Do not respond. Breakfast is served at 7 a.m. sharp. Do not miss it. No exceptions. "Is this a joke?" Dylan asked, half laughing. The woman didn't blink. "I would suggest you take it seriously, Mr. Carter. Many don't. They don't stay long." Room 212 was nothing special. Faded floral wallpaper, a creaky bed, a cracked lampshade, and a mirror that had seen better centuries. The radiator hissed like it resented him. Dylan shrugged off the weirdness. Small towns love their ghost stories. But that night, he woke up. 3:07 a.m. He didn't know why. Just an electric jolt in his chest. Everything felt off. The air was still. Too still. The radiator had gone silent. The lamp beside his bed flickered even though it was off. Then came the knock. 3 soft raps. He remembered the rule. Don't open the door. He lay there, heart pounding, staring at the ceiling. The knocking didn't come again, but then he heard it. A whisper, faint, like someone breathing his name through the keyhole. "Dylan." He bolted upright, grabbed his phone. No signal. Seconds ticked by like hours. The whispering faded. The air shifted, and just like that, the radiator groaned back to life. 3:34 a.m. The next morning, Dylan sat in the dining room. It was small, lined with black and white portraits of people who looked wrong. Eyes too wide, mouths too thin. The old woman served him eggs and toast, no other guests. "You slept well?" she asked. "Something knocked at my door." She sipped her tea. "And did you open it?" "No." "Then you're fine." He stared at his toast. "Has anyone ever opened it?" he asked. She gave a faint, humorless smile. "Not twice." That day, Dylan wandered the halls. The place had 4 floors, but only the first 3 were numbered. The 4th was a strange landing with no room numbers, just blank wooden doors and more of that eerie wallpaper. He found the stairwell that led to the mysterious room 616, 6th floor. It wasn't supposed to exist. He climbed anyway. The steps groaned. The air grew colder the higher he went. At the top was a single hallway, dust-choked and dim. There it was. Room 616. It looked normal, an old brass number on a wooden door. But as he stepped closer, he felt his limbs grow heavy. The air buzzed like static. Something inside was breathing. He didn't open the door. Back in his room, he tried to distract himself. He flipped through the channels on the old TV, but every channel showed the same thing. Static, then a flicker of his own face. Once, the static cleared long enough for him to see room 616's door on screen. It opened, just a crack, and an eye stared out. His eye. He unplugged the TV. That night, Dylan avoided sleep. He watched the clock. At 2:59 a.m., he got out of bed and crept to the hallway, planning to ride it out in the stairwell. But the moment 3 o'clock hit, the hallway changed. Lights dimmed. Wallpaper bled shadows. The air turned syrupy, thick with unseen dread. From down the hall, room 216's door creaked open and shut without anyone near it. Whispers slithered from under doorways. He huddled in the stairwell, ears plugged, whispering to himself. At 3:33, everything stopped, like flipping a switch. He returned to his room. His mirror was fogged. He hadn't showered. He didn't look at it. Breakfast. Again, alone. The old woman placed a newspaper in front of him. Local man missing. After hotel stay. The photo was grainy, but the man was him. "I'm not missing," he said, pointing. She leaned in. "Aren't you?" He laughed it off, but his phone still had no signal, and when he tried to leave, his car wouldn't start. The road back to the highway was gone, swallowed by mist. GPS showed only static. He returned, shaking. That night, he heard footsteps pacing outside his door. All night. The pacing changed rhythm, occasionally stopping, like whatever was out there was listening. Once, he thought he heard his own voice from the other side of the door, mimicking his panic. On the third day, Dylan cracked. He demanded answers. "You never should have gone near 616, the old woman said. "It knows you now." "What is it?" "A room, a place, a thing. Doesn't matter. It's older than this hotel, older than the town. It wears the hotel like skin. I want to leave, then follow the rules, all of them." He packed his things, tried to stay awake again. At 3 o'clock, he sat in the stairwell, headphones on, eyes shut. But the whispers found him. "Come see." They crawled into his ears, his thoughts, his soul. He opened his eyes. He was standing at the door to 616. No memory of getting there. He turned to run, but the hallway was gone. Only fog and whispers. Only the door. And the thing behind it. Something knocked from inside. He reached out. The knob was warm. Then, nothing. Dylan woke in room 212, drenched in sweat. His suitcase by the door, morning light streaming in. Was it a dream? He staggered to the mirror. His reflection wasn't his. It stared at him with wide, hungry eyes. Behind it, the door to room 616 stood wide open, and something smiled. He tried to flee, running down the hallway, pounding on doors for help, but every room was empty. Portraits on the wall seemed to follow him. He made it to the lobby, but the woman was gone. Instead, a man sat behind the desk now. Younger, pale, wearing Dylan's clothes. "Checking in?" the man asked, smiling too widely. Dylan stumbled backward. He ran to the parking lot. His car was there, but something was sitting in the driver's seat. Something that looked like him. It waved slowly. He turned, desperate, and entered the woods behind the hotel. Branches clawed at him. The mist grew thicker. Then he came upon something impossible, a clearing, where dozens of old, broken-down cars sat rusting, all different models, all with keys still in the ignition. He wasn't the first, maybe not even the 100th. From behind him, a voice whispered, "You missed breakfast." They found his car weeks later, empty. No sign of Dylan Carter. The Briarcliff Hotel is no longer listed online. Locals don't speak of it. But sometimes, when the mist rolls down from the hills, people say you can see lights in the upper windows, hear knocking from behind doors that no longer exist. And if you're very unlucky, you'll find yourself checking in. Don't break the rules. Whatever you do, don't open the door.